Hi guys, and welcome back to the next video. So this is part 2 of the 3-part series all about Bookbeam, which, to be honest with you, is quickly becoming our favorite publishing tool. So in the first video, we talked through the first 3 features of Bookbeam, which were Book Tracker, Niche Finder, and Keyword Research Tool. And in this video, we're going to discuss how we personally use Bookbeam for the next 3, which are Keyword Generator, Category Explorer, and Listing Optimizer. So without further ado, let's just get on into exactly how we personally use it for our own publishing business.
Okay, so we'll just go ahead and get into it with the first one. This is the keyword generator. Actually, really quickly before we move on, we will link the other videos below. So if you haven't seen the video with the first 3, and then once we do put out the video with the last 3 as well, we'll link them both below in the description. So do check those out if you want to know how to use the other features as well. Okay, so we're just going to quickly start off with the keyword generator. So we will just do, for example, gardening, and let's just click search. And just to point out, you can obviously choose books, Kindle, or audiobook. These are all going to be within Amazon's platform, and then Audible obviously is going to be within Audible's platform. And then the other thing to know is that you can do this also based on your domain. So typically we always do most of our research for .com because that's where we make the most money and it's the biggest marketplace. But you can also obviously change it to .co. I think this one's Germany, Spain, France, and Italy. And then the other thing to note as well is if you're doing obviously versus .com versus if you're doing .com versus .co.uk. And the reason it's important to differentiate is because there can be different sort of like spellings and different phrases that people use in the US versus the UK. So leading to the next point, we can use this tool basically for 3 things. First thing is going to be to generate keywords for your ad campaigns. Secondly is to kind of just brainstorm and look at the other popular keywords and the additional keywords as well that it comes up with for just brainstorming keywords for topics to look into. And then also using those same keywords, you can potentially use them in your titles.
And just to say, it is quite similar to the keyword research tool. So if you remember from last video, and if we typed in gardening here, as we've done, then it will come up with other suggestions. And obviously this has more detailed insights in terms of metrics like search volume, competitors, etc. But the reason why we mentioned that you can use this keyword generator for potential other book topics and for other keywords in your title is because sometimes you get different words, we've noticed, when you type it into the keyword generator compared to the keyword research tool. So it just gives you more idea and kind of more keywords to potentially use basically. And then with your ad campaigns, why it's so important to have a lot of keywords you're actually using for ad campaigns is because you can't just use 3 or 4 and then hope those specific keywords are going to be enough to sell your book using ads. You need to have a ton of keywords because then what you can do, you can use the data and collect the data and see which ones actually work best for your book when it comes to advertising. And this is a really good easy tool and also a lot of legwork rather than having to go through manually and thinking about all the different keywords. It will do it for you basically.
Yeah, definitely. And just one last thing to add on to that, actually going back to if you're using this for like topic research or just other general ideas, you just want to make sure that obviously you are then testing these keywords for like the metrics in terms of demand. You can't just obviously use any of them and hope that they work. You're still having to do the manual effort of making sure that they're profitable.
Yeah, exactly. And then just lastly, when you're actually taking these keywords into your advertising campaign, you can just click copy all, but then you don't want to just take everything that Bookbeam gives you and then translate that straight into your ad campaign, because what you'll notice down in some of the all related keywords is you'll get some unrelated keywords which are not going to be useful for your ads campaigns. For example, I'll probably find one. Let's say foxgloves, gardening gloves. You're not going to be advertising for that for your book. Okay, well you might be.
Yeah, for the most part, you'll probably want to just take out like specific ones like that. I mean, in theory, you could advertise to them, but our reasoning behind taking them out is probably because those keywords are obviously not going to convert as well because those people are not necessarily looking for a book. So that's kind of the reason we usually take those out.
Yeah, exactly. So the next one is the Category Explorer, a really, really useful tool that Bookbeam has. For me, I actually prefer using Publisher Rocket to look for categories, but when you know how to use it, this one is a good tool as well. So first of all, you can obviously look at your different marketplaces. So we tend to stick to US because that is our largest marketplace that we sell to, and for most people it will be the same. But if you want to do research for others, then you can do, obviously. Kindle books or audiobooks. So we are non-fiction publishers, so we get most of our money from our books, and then our Kindle books, but also our audiobooks as well are pretty profitable. So you can choose which format you want to do it in. And then all we're going to be doing basically is, well, first of all, you need to know which category your book falls into. So for example, if we go for the same example of gardening, it will be crafts, hobbies and home. And then what you're going to do down here is, let's just say the main goal of adding your book to categories is, well, I guess there's kind of two roles. First of all, to increase visibility, you want to add it to as many categories as possible, or good categories as possible. And Amazon now only lets you add it to 3. So you need to pick the best 3 for your book, basically. And something that Amazon is really clamping down on is putting your book into random categories. It used to be something which a lot of people used to do, is put a book into a random category.
You could put them in like anything before, and people would take advantage of it.
Yeah, but now they're actually starting to clamp down on it, and we have heard of some people even getting suspensions of their account and putting it into random categories. So you need to really make sure that you're putting it into appropriate categories. Yeah. And another big goal of it is actually to try and get the best seller tag on your book. So when you're on Amazon, and this goes for books or not on books, just generally on Amazon, the best seller in a particular category will have an orange tag, which is bestseller, and that adds a lot of social proof to your book, and you will notice a big increase in sales when you have that particular tag, when you get it to the bestseller in a particular category. And it is something which updates every couple of hours, but if you can try and solidify your book in that bestseller tag, then it will mean your book will do a lot better. Okay, so the best way to actually get a bestseller tag on your book is to have a higher BSR ranking. So if, let's say, in a particular category, the bestseller of that particular category is only 35,000, that's obviously a lot easier to get than if a category has a BSR ranking #1 position of, let's say, 5,000, because you're having to sell less copies to reach that bestseller tag. So this is kind of what you can use this tool for, basically. Yeah. So to do that, you choose this top rank #1. What it says here is show only categories that match these filters for bestseller ranks of one book within the category. So basically, which category has a book between 20 to 40,000 in terms of BSR ranking. And then all you need to do from here is click Find Categories, and then it will show you the different categories which has a sale rank of between 20 to 40,000 to get to the #1 spot.
Okay, so once you actually scroll down to where it shows you, the only thing, again, just to reiterate that you have to be careful of is obviously it's just going to show you all the categories that meet the criteria within crafts, hobbies, and homes, but these are not necessarily all going to make sense for your book. So, for example, if you're doing a book for the sake of continuity about gardening, then obviously, like a lot of these categories don't even actually make sense. So, the benefit of this is that you're going to be able to find categories that you only need this ranking to actually get the #1 spot. The downside is that you are unable to like specifically search for keywords within the categories. It just gives you all of them. So then you're still having to go through and kind of look through each of them individually. But for example, like this one could potentially work for a gardening one. This one could work for a gardening one. This one could work for a gardening one. So you're just kind of making sure that whatever category you do end up choosing, again, has to do with your actual book topic. Otherwise, Amazon, has the right to either take the book down or suspend your account, and you obviously don't want that to happen.
And then the ultimate goal of this is to basically to look for the BSR ranking, basically the highest tier that your book actually fits into, because that means it'll be the easiest to get that bestseller tag.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, actually just to continue off that, for example, if your book has a 26,000 ranking and you think you can maybe get into like this category here that has a 31,000 as a #1 spot, then obviously if you put your book into that category, in theory, it would take the #1 spot, and that's how you would get the bestseller tag. Sweet. So just to finish off this one, we've got the listing optimizer. So this one's a nice and simple one. So we don't personally use this one as much just because we have been publishing for quite a while now, and we kind of know the criteria that we need to sort of meet in order to optimize a listing. But essentially what this does is you can click on Analyze New Listing, and once your book is live on Amazon, you can enter either the URL or the ASIN as it says here, and then you just click on Analyze, and it will pull up the book's page and all the information about it. And as you can see here, there are sort of different checkpoints that you can make sure, it's kind of like a checklist, I guess, not checkpoints, a checklist to basically make sure that you're meeting all these criteria in order to optimize the listing. So as you can see here, you've got reviews and ratings, so you want to make sure that you've got a certain number of ratings, and then the categories as well, just making sure that you're increasing the visibility of your book as much as possible. Then the description too, so description is something that's super important. A lot of people kind of miss out on this and they don't really take advantage of it, because it really is like almost like a built-in sales page for your book. So when somebody goes to your book, they're literally literally right next to the book's listing, or right next to the book's like image on the right side of it, you can just like enter your description, and that's where you can obviously let the customer know about what is inside the book. And the better your description, the more likely your customer is going to be to buy the book. And then just finally, A+ content. So this is just another marketing tactic. You can essentially add graphics and other images to your page below, like if you scroll down about halfway down, and you can kind of showcase the interior of your book as well as give the reader a bit more information. So yeah, again, it's just kind of like a checklist, making sure that you're doing all of these things to make sure that you're essentially just like increasing your chances of conversions when people actually come to your page.
Awesome. Yeah, so that's it, guys. They're the next 3 features of Bookbeam. So we went through Keyword Generator, Category Explorer, and Listing Optimizer. So all pretty good tools in their own right. So that's 6 tools covered now. From the first video, we covered the first 3, and in the next video, which we'll be releasing probably next week, we then cover these next 4 actually. So I hope that's helpful, guys. And don't forget, if you want to try out Bookbeam for yourself, we'll leave the code down below so you can get a discount actually when you sign up. But yeah, we'll see you in the next video, guys. Bye for now.
Bye.